Yo, good evening. So this is a follow-up video on how to export models out of Skate 3. So in this video, I will show you a bit more on how to use this tool called Model Researcher, and basically how to use this text view, how to use the texture view, right? Sort of to debug and make sure everything looks correctly, and the hex view. So okay, so let's do the process here. Let's go through it. So I have a model here, and I will open it up again. It is Rob's shoes. So let's open that up, and this is the prop shoes. It's the extra shoes for him. And so first off, when we start this up, we'll have nothing, okay? So we make sure first the byte order is always going to be big endian, okay? And then up in 3D view here, you want to select texture, faces, and vertices. In text view, you want vertices, faces, UVs, and info. Everything just ticked like this. And also in hex view, you want vertices, faces, and UVs. You want all those checked. Okay, so you have the most amount of information available to you when you're working. Okay, so first off, set type to short sign. Okay, set the type on faces, that's for vertices. Okay, on faces, you set it to short. And then you set the format to tri-strip or to tri-strip FF. I'm just going to use tri-strip in this video. Format up here is just going to be XYZ. Okay. And then what you want to do now is you want to get the offset for the vertices. And how you do that is in every single model that you open up, every single XR or RX2, whatever they're called, XR2 file, there is going to be a header, right? And this is a renderware header, I guess, because they use that to render out the meshes and stuff. But yeah, so what you're going to do is you're going to go to offset 44. So you go to 40 right here. So this is one offset is 1 byte. That's the second, third offset, fourth, right? And so what you want to do is you want to go to the 40th offset right here. Then, so that's, I guess this is sort of hard to explain but yeah, let's go to 40th offset. And then you want to count 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay? That's for the 44th offset. You can see that right there. On the 44th offset, if you highlight 4 bytes here, 1, 2, 3, 4 bytes, you'll see a number, and that is 00000CBC. You want to hit Control C. You want to paste that into offset, and then you want to remove the spaces in between there. Then you want to copy it once more, right-click, and paste as decimal. Now you'll have the start of the model file. So that's all we need from up here. What we do then is we go down to that offset, okay? And we don't go down to this because it's not going to tell us that, but we'll go down to, what we can do is we can do like 100, and then we'll see where it starts right there, okay? So that's where it starts. And then what we're going to do is we're going to figure out what padding does it use? What padding should we use for this to make a 3D object appear? So how you do that is you type you look at like how long is the file. It's pretty long, so we have a lot of leeway here. We can play a lot. So if I add 1 to the padding, it's going to get longer, right? So if I add like 20 to the padding, we want it to still have stuff to work with. So add like 40 to the padding and make sure it doesn't go too far down, okay? Because we want to be able to use a bunch of padding here. Okay, now that we know that, we're going to add 1 as a padding. We're going to go to 3D view. Well, first 0, then I click render. Then you look at the object, and it doesn't look like that is an actual object. You'll see when it looks like an object. Okay, we'll put it to 200, and then click render. Okay. So then we add a 1. We hit render. Does it look like an object? No. We will hit render with 2 as the offset. Does it look like an object? Oh, yes. Down here, it looks like the shoes. Okay, the soles of the shoes. But the rest is not right, so it's not the right padding. A lot of people are going to think now, oh, here we go. There is an object. It's got to be the right thing, but no, it's not. So just try 3, hit render. Try 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, you see? We're getting closer. You see now how now it's starting to look more and more like it, but you can still see there's a cluster here that doesn't look right. And as long as you have a cluster of stuff that doesn't look right and appear to be an object, just keep adding. So you can add, you can make it 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. We're just going to keep going. And you'll see when it's the right offset. You'll see it. And in the last video I said use 22 for padding, but I had only tried a couple files, like 10 files, and all of them were 22, but after trying more and more, there was more to figure out, basically. There was more stuff that, you know, that I didn't know before that just sort of appeared. So, yeah, so just keep trying these paddings. Okay, we're at 26. And there is no cluster of stuff. And it's looking good. So, now that we have those vertices, we can start adding more to the count. You see it? And it's starting to look better. Make it 400. Sorry, 400, 500, 600, 700. Oh, sorry, 700. Okay. When do we know when to stop? When do we know that? Well, first off, you're going to have stuff appear somewhere where you don't want them. You see here, there's vertices just in the sky. But to make sure, all we can do is go into text view, click print, and scroll down. And you'll see a pattern here of what it looks like. You see all, if you look at these things, it looks correct. It looks like correct data. Okay? But then, what's going to happen is all of a sudden, oh, look at this. It doesn't look at all the same as before. It doesn't look like it belongs. And how we can confirm that is go into hex view. And we're going to check here. Okay, it's even data here. And you see before every vertice there is FF or something of that nature. And that seems to be a pattern, a reoccurring pattern. So just keep scrolling. And okay, now you're going to see here there's going to be the faces. And the faces are going to look like the alphabet and a bunch of numbers. And as I said in the last video, the way you know when a face starts, or the faces start, is there's usually going to be FF, and then there's going to be 0, 0, 0, let's see, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 1. So 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 1. And then usually also 0, 0, 0, 2 after that. So what you're going to do now is you're going to go to the first 0, 0 that is before a 0001 that is usually after a FF, but not always. Absolutely not always, but sometimes. But yeah, so you'll click on that. That is going to be your first face, and you're going to take the offset that you see up here. You're going to copy it in here, paste as decimal. Okay. What you're going to do now is you're going to type something like 100. And now you'll see, oh, the vertices here, they're going past the faces. So we need to decrease them. So we need to make them something smaller. So we need to make them, let's see, 550, 580. Okay. So what you do is you make sure they don't go past, right? Now you see they don't go past there. Okay. That looks perfect, right? And then, now that we know that the vertices are perfect, we go into 3D view again, and you'll keep an eye on the vertices that are right here. They're just lurking. Click render, and they're gone. And down here now we have a couple faces rendered in. And as you can see, so what we do is we go into hex view, we scroll all the way down to the bottom, and then we start adding here. 1,000, 2,000, 3,000, okay. 2,500, 2,600, 2,007, 8, 2,900. Let's do 3,000, and then go back a little bit. Okay. What you want to do is you want to add one at a time now until you get to the very end. Click render, go to view, and here we go. There you have the shoes. Those are the full shoes with a little bit of cleanup, but that's it. With a couple faces that you just got to remove in Blender. Okay. And then for the vertices, what you got to do to make sure you find the vertices is you got to keep an eye on the texture tab. Click view UVs. Nothing. Okay, there is nothing. So what we do is we copy the offset for vertices. Control C, and then Control V into UVs. Then we copy the count as well, like that. Then what we want to do is we want to copy the padding into here, so we have all this the same as a starting point. Then we click render and view UVs. Okay, so now if we view the UVs, and we view them as polygons, it's going to and points, it's going to look very wrong, right? So what you want to do is you want to make sure that everything follows a pattern again. So we go to hex view, and we scroll up until we get to the start of the vertices. And the start of the UVs is always going to be somewhere between the first and the second vertice. So somewhere in between that point and that point where the second vertices start. So what you want to do is you want to take that offset right there, copy that, and paste as decimal. That is going to be where you want to start. Okay, and as a starting point, it's not going to be correct always, very rarely, but it's a starting point. Okay, and then you want to make sure that they follow a pattern. And as you can see now, they are clipping into the vertices. So it doesn't look good, it doesn't follow a pattern. So we'll have to change the padding. So you can usually increase the padding. Almost always, well, always I'd say. So you increase it by 1, it still doesn't look right. You increase it by 2, and a nice pattern. Okay. Now we're going to go back. When we see a pattern here, we're going to go back, and make sure it's not clipping into anything. Okay. So we go back, we click View UVs, and it still doesn't look like shoes. It still doesn't look like anything. So what we want to do now is that now that we have a padding that makes a pattern that looks correct, right? It looks like it's following this pattern along with the other, with the vertices. We will start adding to the UVs. So add 1 here, so it's 6, 7. Click View UVs, go to Texture. Does this look like shoes? No, it does not. So we add another one, 8. View UVs. Does it look like like shoes? Does not. Add one more, 9. Does it look like shoes? No. So we add another one. Does it look like shoes? No. And another one. And another one. Oh, look at that. Look at how pretty that is. Here you see the soles of the shoes. And here you see symmetrical, asymmetrical UV. They're not always like this, but you can tell that this is the UVs for the shoes. So this is the process of how you find these offsets. So now, what you want to do when you find these sort of offsets, when you find the padding, when you find anything that works like this, write it down. Write it down on in a document and save it. And then you basically store it. Make a database. Make something, so you'll remember this. And then just sort of keep all these things in mind. You know, when you go and tackle new models, that it's not always going to be the same. You're going to have to do a little bit of research. You're going to have to try and find patterns and find these solutions here by using these settings. And so, yeah. So my last video is sort of, it works for a few things. It works for a lot of other things, but it doesn't work for everything. Far from it. Very far from it. And that's why I'm doing this follow-up video showing you how to use this tool. So now we know we have the UVs, we have the vertices, we have the faces. All we do now is load up a texture. And the way we find this texture, the way we find what texture to use, is we go to where we found in the game right here. We will find, so this is the model I'm using. This is the one I'm exporting right now. To find the texture for this, we go back into Marquee, go to Texture, and we need to find it in here. And how we do that is we go into the Researcher, open Hex View, and then scroll up. And scroll up until the vertices start here. Okay? Then scroll up a little bit. Let's see. Until we see, it should say, somewhere here it should say diffuse, right here. It'll say name, blend file, whatever, and then it'll say character, leather, diffuse, and then it'll say diffuse, and then after the diffuse, underscore, 0 underscore, whatever, it'll say 0x. So 0x, 0, 0, blah, 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 and then you go all the way here to the last number, right? And you need to copy that. And I'm not sure you can copy multiple lines in here, so you're going to have to copy, you're going to have to do this, copy the first, it's a limitation with the thing. So copy the first there, first couple, and then you copy the rest, and you open it up again, and you add it, and here you go. Here you have the texture. So, what you do then is you copy this texture, copy it, and you open up the folder where you're working in Model Researcher. And you put the texture in here, you see? Then you open up Noises, okay? So open that up, like that. And then you go in, and you open up the Model Modding, Model Researcher, and then you go to where you're working in the folder. And let's see, Rob's Shoes, and then Props. Okay, so in here you'll have the texture file, right here. Boom, here we got the textures, and now you export and hit export. And we want the normal map for it too. So what we're going to do is, oh, there is actually a dirt map too. So what we can do is we can get that first. Get the dirt. So copy the first line here. It might be better if you do this in a normal hex editor because that doesn't have that limit to it. So all you do is you type that out. So that's the dirt, and then the rest of it. Oh, that's the wrong folder. So like that. Copy this. Put it into the folder we're working out of. And then go into Noesis, reload, and then you open up the dirt map here. Hit export, and now we have that. And now it's going to be the last one here that we can find, and that is the normal. So normal map, then you get 0x, okay, like that, and then we get the rest of it. And here we go. We copy that, go into the folder we're working from again, and go into Noesis, reload, find the file, and there it is, the normal map, and you export it. Boom, like that. Okay. Okay. So what we do now is we go back in here into Model Researcher, and we load texture. And we want to load the right one. We'll just try one first here. Go to Texture View, Draw Texture, View UVs. And that's obviously not it. So these are the normals, but we want the color. So here we go. That's the color. And let's see. Okay. So as we can see here, when looking at this, the UVs are flipped. You see that? Now they're correct. Or you have to, in this case, you had to flip them, the UVs. Okay, so I haven't actually seen that before, but in this case, that was necessary. So sometimes that's what you're going to have to do. If you see the UVs are upside down, if the soul is here or it doesn't match, you click flip, and it'll flip the UVs. And now they match, as you can see. Okay. What you do now is save object. Go to Rob's shoes, go to props, and hit save. And here you have his shoes, you have the textures, you have the UVs. So all you got to do now is, let's see, got to go back in. Now we want to open that up in Blender. Okay, I'm just going to select all here, delete that. Oh yeah, I don't know why I did that. Okay, so now we go in and we load the file up, just as we usually do. And let's find Model Researcher, Rob's shoes, props, and we're going to load them up. And here they are. Okay. Click on them, load texture, and you'll see they're going to look like shit here. They're not going to look good. So load new. I guess we don't have to load new. We should though, because sometimes it just keeps the UVs and stuff in mind. So load new, and then go back and open up the textures. Okay, find the texture, and what we want to do now is flip horizontal, rotate 180, save. Okay. Now that it's saved, we open Blender back up and we import. Then we go to Rob's shoes and props. Okay, here we go. They're going to be right here. So now we load texture, and here we go. So you can see they have the textures on them, and they're looking fly as fuck. And yeah, look at that. Not bad. Not bad at all. So yeah, what you have to do now is just sort of clean them up, right? Just clean them up by right click, go to edit mode, select faces, and start removing unnecessary faces like this. Okay, and I guess we have a couple things here. Okay, so now we have the shoes. We have the textures, we have the materials, we have everything, the UVs and everything, and it's all looking pretty good. I guess there's something in them right there, but I don't know if I should remove that. We'll just have it like this for now. But yeah, as you can see, they look really good. I'm surprised. I'm actually really surprised. That's so dope. Really, that's just so dope. Holy crap. Sorry, I'm just still in shock that I can get Skate 3 stuff out of the game. It's absolutely ridiculous. Okay, yeah, there is a little bit of more cleanup right there. So, let's do that right now. Remove face. Okay. You know what? Let's try this. Let's remove these strange faces in the shoes as well. Like that, and like that. Okay, and then look at them. Make sure nothing's broken. Okay. And they look pretty fine. Yep, here we go. Here we have them. Here we have the shoes. So that's the process, and let's go out here. Let's open up the researcher again. So just keep in mind to use the text view here to look at just look at it and make sure it looks like the data belongs. Okay? Do print set updates here. I'm just gonna, you see, if you look at this right now, we'll take a look at the faces. And I'm going to show you what I mean with it looking like it belongs. And this is what I mean by that. Look at this. Look at this data, how beautiful it is. Slowly increasing, right? And it has numbers pretty close to each other, and they all look like they sort of belong here, right? And that's where it starts. And then it's, you know, increases like that. And then right here, I guess these are the UVs. Those are the vertices, and the VT here is the UVs. So, and if you look at them, it looks right. It looks like correct data. So use this view to your advantage. Okay. Make sure you have all the info, and you use, you know, all these settings. Use the hex view as much as you can. That's all the advice I can give. I mean, when I find more and more different formats, when I find more and more different settings, I'm just going to add them to a database I'm making. And I'm basically going to make a script that uses different, you know, of these data structures that I'm making, that I'm saving. So the more data we can collect, the more of these samples we can collect, the more meshes we'll be able to extract in the future. So yeah, so just keep trying, and it's all about patterns. So yeah, at least you know 100% where the vertices start, and you know basically 100% where the faces start, because it's always 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 1, 0, 0, 0, 2. That's what it is. And one more time, I'm going to show you here where you find the vertices starting point. That is at 44, right there. And that is where you find the starting point. And when you copy it in here, you need to paste it in as a decimal. And you have to remove these spaces in between. So, but yeah, that's about it. I can't really, I don't know, there isn't much more to it. This is it for now. So until we have a script done, until I've made something like that, which is going to be a really long time, but yeah, until then, this is what we have, and it works for the majority of it works, I guess it works for every single file that isn't a level file right now. So yeah. That's about it. So this is a little bit of a tutorial, I guess, on how to use the tool and what to keep in mind, how to find the names, how to find the textures, all that stuff. Yeah, this is all I got. So yeah, thank you for watching, and let's figure all this out together. Let's get the skate models once and for all. Peace out, guys.